So in today's Consulting Blueprint Success interview, we're actually bringing on Bryce Tubbs, who joined the Consulting Blueprint, and the ideas in that program launched him off so quickly that he went ahead and upgraded to a highest level mastermind. We've only got two offers right now. We're thinking about bringing up a third one eventually, but Consulting Blueprint, which is, get you to $40,000 a month as a one-man show, and Scaling Blueprint, which is building your team, building your upsell, building a $10, $20, $30,000 ticket on top of your main flagship ticket, and scaling up to that $1 million a year profit mark. And Bryce, within 30 days, joined CB. We actually recorded a CB interview for Bryce, and then within the first month of us recording that video, I decided let's not do it because he upgraded to SB, the Scaling Blueprint, and went even further. And so he's had an incredible just run after joining our programs, and to the point where now, before joining, he couldn't even sell his packages for $2,000 or $3,000, and he's actually closed two, and he almost has closed his third, $10,000 package as a coach. And what he actually does is he helps bookkeepers, like people who have bookkeeping and accounting businesses, get more clients, and he also helps normal, like everyday people start bookkeeping businesses to sort of supplement their income if they're kind of a more technical or mathematical person. So welcome to the channel, Bryce. It's been a lot of fun working with him. And as I always say in these interviews, if you'd like to speak with directly to myself or directly to my highly trained team of coaches, which are all previously successful clients of the Consulting Blueprint and Scaling Blueprint programs respectively, then you can book a call directly with us. We'll meet with you over Zoom. It'll be a 30 to 60 minute discussion. We're just going to add a bunch of value to your business, show you some of our secrets, and help you out a little bit. And if you end up being a good fit, you have the decision whether you want to move forward and work inside of one of our programs and scale up faster. The benefit of getting a mentor is immense. I've spent $200 to $300,000. No, it's actually literally $300,000 at this point on coaches, masterminds, mentors to help me grow my business. Because I personally know that if I can just spend money instead of spending time to figure out what I need to do next, then I'd much rather spend the money because my time is so much more valuable. And when I was just getting started, honestly, my money was more valuable than my time, right? Because I wasn't making a lot of it. And so I knew that if I could make money less valuable by making myself able to make more, then I can start trading my money for, more saved time and continue to reinvest and continue to grow. And so if you'd like to make a leap or even not even make a commitment right now and just speak to the team and see kind of what it is that we offer and the specifics, it's a 12-month program. You get unlimited one-to-one with myself, with my team. We have daily group coaching calls. We've got about 18 hours of course material as well as tons of action items. We have about 280 active clients inside of the Consulting Blueprint program, about 20 inside of the Scaling Blueprint program. So if you'd like to be in that community of highly paid digital coaches and consultants, all with different industries, different niches, different backgrounds. We even have one lady in here who sells a robotics course. So she helps people literally build robots and is doing really well doing that. So if you'd like to join that community, be sure to book your call down below. Obviously, you're not making a commitment by booking a call. You're really just saying, hey, maybe I'll move forward in the future. And I'd love to just kind of see what you guys exactly do, how it all works, and how you could potentially help me. Whether you're a beginner or you're already established, we'd love to speak with you and see if it's a good fit for us to partner and to serve you and help you grow. So anyway, welcome to the channel, Bryce Tubbs. Be sure to watch this entire interview because Bryce has some really cool key takeaways. And one last thing before we go, I want to apologize for the audio. Bryce wasn't able to get his microphone all the way up working. Just me being a little bit picky. I feel like the audio could have been better. But anyway, I digress. Welcome to the channel, Bryce Tubbs. All right, Bryce. Welcome to the channel, dude.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Of course, man. Of course. You've had a pretty cool first few weeks in the program. I think you've been in the program for it's gonna be 2 or 3 months now. So I'm excited to just kind of share what that's been like. So go ahead and open up and share, what's happened so far in your business since joining.
Yeah, so since I joined, we've been going through some pretty great growth. So the one thing that's the most outstanding is just being able to sell a back end continuation package. So far, I've sold two of my programs at the $10,000 for 6-month price point to students who had already been. We sold them into the run package, but I was having such trouble being able to sell them into the second back end program, and it's been really cool being able to finally do that. Because before I was 0 for 5, and I was 2 for 2 in the last probably month, as well as in February I had about a $32,000 sales month. So far this month I've already sold about 15, and it's only the 9th day of the month. Also, my cash collected is up a lot higher. There's a couple cool tricks that we spoke about the past couple of days, and it's just been really kind of cool. Does that kind of answer your question, or is more or less? Or
yeah, more or less. Where were you before you joined as well? Just so we can clarify that.
Yeah, so before I joined, I was having a lot of trouble with really getting my clients to connect with me. I think that was the main thing that we talked when we were joining, because like I had been seeing your videos for a long time, but with my audience, like I had been trying to build like a Facebook group, and it just seemed like they were so cold. It would either be like they either wanted to buy, or they're like toward you, and they just would be so apathetic, and they just wouldn't really respond. So it was almost like I was just so mad because I was like, I have all these followers. There's only a couple, like 10,000 at the time, but they don't respect me. They don't care. I thought that once I got to a certain point, it would just be like, they would start seeing other people are joining, other people are inside, and they would paying me money. Um,
Mm.
it
Mm.
wasn't happening like that at all. So just a lot of frustration there, and just a lot of anger.
Mm.
Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. So it's almost like you knew you had something good. You even had a decent audience, but they just weren't converting the way that you wanted them to convert. Because, and I imagine the way that we fixed that was just like better understanding of sales. So working with you to get your sales understanding up. What happened with you too is you actually joined the consulting blueprint first. And then within like 2 weeks, you kind of popped off with our formula there. And I was like, dude, let me just get you into our mastermind, the scaling blueprint, and work more closely with you. Right. And just kind of work with you one-to-one. And that's when we started selling the $10,000 package. That's when things started popping off on that front from what I know. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. It really, the success when we joined with you really started with, you guys ran this boot camp internally inside the program, like really how to grow a YouTube channel. Cause like,
Yep.
yeah, I was just so pissed before the program because it was like, I finally grew my audience. I thought if I got my audience to the same size as Trey, then I'd be making as much money as Trey. And I didn't. So then I was like, okay, let's just go see what this guy has. Like, why is he able to get his audience to convert? We started talking, and then you were just saying, I need to be putting out better quality content to be able to get the people who haven't bought yet to resonate with me. And then we were going through a revamp of my current program to make sure that my current clients like me more. They feel like they have a better sense of belonging inside of my program. So then when I try and upsell them into the, higher ticket package, then it's a lot easier to do so. And, we've been working on that pretty closely together. And that's really what's been the biggest takeoff point for me, is really the content that you show me how to do, as well as, I guess, the content inside of the course, which is also what we've been working on pretty closely. Does that fully answer your question?
Yep. It does, dude. So it's really like, because really just to relay, like, I'm sure I say some version of this in the intro, where I'm like, because I record a separate intro with my iPhone just to introduce the interview. But like the main problem that I saw with Bryce, just for the viewer, was that he didn't really know how to convert his audience, and he built one. And this is what a lot of people will do. Like they will have an audience, or if they don't have an audience, we can build one quite quickly, just using groups and YouTube SEO and ranking you up. But with Bryce, he had that audience because he thought that that's what it took to monetize. And then we noticed that you weren't really, positioning your offer that well to that audience, and there wasn't a connection there. And then we also noticed that your offer, if we're honest with ourselves, was good, but it wasn't amazing. And because it wasn't amazing, like you weren't able to collect more revenue on the back end by selling your clients more services, et cetera. So I really just gave you a breakdown of how to rebuild your offer. And it feels like those are the main things that we've done from when you first joined to today, correct?
Yeah, those are really the main thing.
Cool.
Yeah. Plus like having the support of I know you have like the coaching staff. Like that's been really cool as well, to kind of
Mm.
be able to be like, hey, let's book a call. Just look at exactly what we're doing. Like, why are we messing this thing up? He's like, hey, switch the way that you present the call. So now like I get like anywhere from 3 to 4 sales calls booked on the calendar per day, just from both Facebook, and then one of the methods you teach about how to use Facebook outside of your current audience. I get between 2 to 3 calls a week from the YouTube channel, which, I started making videos based on you and me, like having a lot of conversations about how to do so. And then really how to close the sales. I spoke with one of your sales team coaches, just really how to start getting more cash collected up front, as well as with you, like how to stop getting payments and just do paid. So yeah,
Nice.
man, it's been pretty cool.
Love it, dude. So walk people through kind of where you like what advice would you give to yourself at the stages that you were at where you had some proof of concept, it's not like you didn't have a business. Like the business was sort of established. You put in some work to get it there. In your own words, what would you say you were doing wrong that you could then turn into advice for people at a similar stage where they're, selling a package or two a month, they're doing okay, and they're ready for that kind of that boost into that next level? Like, what's your advice? And just, you can be very candid. Like, I have no secrets. I give away the farm. Like, what did we do for you, and what would you have done for yourself or for somebody at that stage? Because I feel like we've kind of talked about the problems that we solved, but I guess I'm asking, how did we solve those problems, and to get more granular about, really what your advice would be for somebody at that stage.
Yeah, so the number one thing, like I think one of the coolest things about your program was, especially for if I was talking to myself probably like 6 months ago, because I probably could have used this 6 months ago, it'd be like, you gotta really keep things simple.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was trying to do like Facebook ads, I was trying to do like a group, I was trying to do I was trying to do all these different types of posts, and I wasn't really tracking well. Versus nowadays, it's like we're keeping things extremely simple. I the place where I'm adding a lot more value and warming up that audience, and even getting like strangers to come to me, is really the YouTube channel. So doing the videos, it's basically like the same words that I would have written down, put them inside of like video format, and really start warming up there. Get the people to go from my Facebook group to the YouTube channel as soon as possible, so they can start warming them up. Then the conversations get so much easier because they automatically want to book a call with you because they start feeling like they're already getting so much value in advance, but they can't implement a lot of the stuff that you teach them. So now they have like this huge like value reservoir kind of built up, but they don't know what to do. So then they come to you because you're the person that filled up that value reservoir, and now they're ready to buy. And even on the call, like if they've gone through that value reservoir and you say a price that's way higher than what they're expected, they almost like can't say no because they already made up in their mind that they're ready to buy. As long as like the price is not like 4x what they were expecting. That's been the biggest thing for me, man. Is just like that's the connection point. It's just having all that video and all that value that we can kind of throw to them.
Yeah, for sure. That's why I give away the farm. You know what I mean? Like with my YouTube channel, with our free resources, my whole goal is that, somebody can legitimately grow their business, whether they pay us a dime or not. And then eventually they see how much quicker they can do it if they do decide to invest, save time, save money. And then those are the people that we work with. You know what I mean? So it really is just a simple discrepancy. I'd say like, it's crazy that we do, over $1 million a year in revenue. And I'd say less than 5% of my audience even buys our stuff. It's pretty wild, so it's like, it's a pretty cool thing to say, like 95% of my followers like have never even paid me any money. And that's just wild. And so I honestly, it's crazy to be in a position where if I were to push harder and I were to, just like sell, I imagine we could make a lot more money. But like, I've had a little bit of a shift recently where I think at the beginning of the year, I was like, I want to sell and get to that 2 or 3 million a year mark. And I'm like, wait, like, I don't want to change what's working. Instead, let's figure out how to grow the top of the funnel, right? Let's get more attention online. So, which is kind of the next step for my company. It's just, a 12-month slow, steady build of like more YouTube content that could appeal to the greater thread of people. So yeah, dude. Well, I mean, so you've made a good jump. You've gone from, where you were to where you are now. Where are you trying to get, and how do you suppose we're going to be helping you get there? Because I feel like, everybody has a different reason why they join our programs, right? So Consulting Blueprint, that, our main flagship offer, which is our mastermind that you're in, but the main flagship, that tends to be, either beginners. Most of the time it's beginners that have no experience, just need the direct mentorship, or it's people with semi-established businesses that just need a better roadmap. And for you, you're in Scaling Blueprint, where we're trying to get you to 7 figures. Like that's the goal for all of our clients there. So Maybe you share that sentiment, maybe you don't. I guess my question is, where are you trying to get? Let's say over the next, 8 to 12 months, what's your goals for your business and how do you plan to get there, and how will you be helping you do that?
Yeah. So, cause I was scared, man, cause I was like, already in my life was kind of like, don't grow too fast, don't grow too fast. So I was thinking in my mind, like, max I would do this year be like 500K, right? Cause it was
Right.
like, inside of the group I have, I could probably knock out 500K, but I think I can hit $100 month mark,
Mm-hmm.
and that's really where I want to go because I know it's almost like everything that you're doing inside of your program is like really cool, and like that's really why I invested into the upper level was so that
Mm-hmm.
I can start seeing an inside look into like what someone who not only has $1 million coaching business, but you also have like a team, and people are so happy to actually be working with your team members. So I actually brought on um, for example, like I brought on like a relative to actually do some of the coaching calls for some of my students, and like the people have really liked this. I'm like, whoa! I was sitting downstairs in my living room, and the other person was actually doing the coaching call. And I was like, oh, and the person actually thanked me for connecting them with that coach. I was like, whoa, okay. So now I can grow. I don't have to be the one doing the coaching. I don't have to be the one doing the sales call. And like, whoa, dude. So to be honest, man, I think I can go and hit 100K per month and still have really good client fulfillment services. Especially if we can keep getting like right. Our ultimate plan is to be able to not only sell the 10K, but really we're trying to sell it more for the $20,000 for 12 months. Right
Mm-hmm.
now, to kind of bridge that gap, instead of selling the $20,000, I was selling the $10,000 for 6 months, and then after the 6 months is up, I'm going to sell them into another 10,000 for another 6 months. So it's basically going to be
Mm-hmm.
the $20,000 program. But that's why like me and you are really working together, because if
Mm-hmm.
I can just like sell the $20,000, at least one out of five students who go into the program, I only need 200 people to go through my front end offer, which is
Yep.
not a lot of people, to go and hit that. That'd probably be about $2 million mark per year. So it just
Yep.
really working with you has kind of opened my eyes to like it doesn't have to be that hard to
Yep.
go and hit this goal and be like, I'm not gonna die when I get there.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. That's good. It's good thoughts all around, dude. And I agree with your thinking. I think, knocking out their high ticket offer. And one of the things too that, I think I helped you think through, and this is actually like a piece of content I'll probably make on YouTube soon, is like how to create recurring revenue with a coaching business. So how do you create recurring revenue? Because
Yeah.
a lot of people, they're afraid to go into coaching because you're like, oh, but it's like once off, like it doesn't create repeat customers. I'm like, it's such a horse. It's so not true. Right. And so like, for example, this past week, I don't know where I think it's actually a pretty slow week for us. It's like 22,000, 20,000, something like that this past week. That's just, the business fluctuates. Some weeks we do 60, this week did about 20. And like, it's crazy. Like a lot of that is like renewals from this time last year, people joining the program, and it's a 12-month program, and they're like, oh, I want to stick around. So that's a form of recurring revenue. The other form of recurring revenue is in upsells, like what you're doing, right? So imagine if, you build this mastermind out. Let's say you sell 10 people over the next 12 months. Let's say even just half of them renew,
Yeah.
right? And instead of charging 10,000, we charge 15,000. So you got 5 people a year from now will pay you another $15,000. So in my view, this business model is about being a leader and about really solving your clients' problems in a deep and like pointed way, and getting them coming back for more over and over again by just continually solving the problems and walking them. Like, you want every interaction they have with you to be a breakthrough. And if you can achieve every interaction with you being a breakthrough, then you will get repeat customers. They'll come back for more and more and more, which is also selfishly why our program is a 12-month program. But also we found that if we put a cap on the amount of time that they spend in the program, guess what? They take more action. They get better
Yeah.
results, right? So, yeah, dude. So I guess my final question is like, what have been your key takeaways working with me so far, and the team as well, not just me?
Uh-huh.
And kind of maybe download those to some people of like, the lessons you've learned. And then we'll wrap up after that with your advice to people who are listening to this right now. So key lessons you've learned, and that you can take as long as you want on that one. And maybe to add to that, what effect have those lessons had on your business? And then wrapping up with some advice to the listener. So.
Just kind of thinking rather than just talking first.
Go ahead.
It's almost like it's hard to kind of describe in words, but it's like knowing what I know now, the way that we're growing the business, it's like extremely intentional. Because like I used to do a 30-day program, but now I like increase the front end one to 6. I'm even considering increasing it to 12 months, because it's like we're forcing that we're going to be able to get them the desired results they want. And then when we can get them that desired result they want, since they've been spending so much time with us, it's almost like they can't live and grow their business without us. So it's almost like it's like forcing them to want to stay a part of the community. I think that was the biggest takeaway as far as how to create that recurring revenue, which is kind of what I'm looking for, to be able to run this business for like the next 10 years. The next thing that was really, really important, and I think you said this a number of times, is, I guess it's kind of hard because you said so many cool things, right? Mm-hmm. But I think the one thing that's really sticking with me is like kind of that long-term thinking, which I asked you in a coaching call. I was like, what does that mean, dude? Long-term thinking, like you say. I'm like, how long-term? What does that mean? And it was basically like, you're doing stuff today that's going to make it easier, 1 month, 1 year, 2 years, 10 years down the line to do this stuff. And you showed me a graph of like how you can get $1 million in recurring revenue just by doing the same exact things that we're doing right now over an extended period of time with a lot of focus and a lot of emphasis. I think that to me right there is kind of like, because I had one insecurity. I was like, how long can like my business go for? Is there this thing online where like it just suddenly falls apart and like you just can't make money anymore? But then when I shifted my thinking, I'm like, oh my gosh, I can make this thing last for so long. And every single video that I make today is going to make people want to pay me more money in the future. And as I grow my coaching business, my results get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. So I'm never losing leads, because as I grow and I get people to $50,000 a month, $100,000 a month, all the people that have been waiting on the sidelines and growing their business, they're going to fall into my marketing eventually too. So it's just kind of cool to be able to have that, just that long-term thought process of, as long as I stick in the game, my results are just going to keep growing and growing and growing.
Yep. Totally, dude. It's like a feedback loop. And I don't know if I've ever done this before in an interview. This is probably a new one. It's like a feedback. I'm using the whiteboard in an interview. It's like a feedback loop of every sale that you make leads to a new client relationship, which can lead one of two ways. Either they're unhappy, which creates a negative feedback loop in your business, or they're happy because you got them to their desired result, which then leads to a testimonial, as well as feedback to your program. So testimonial helps your marketing, and this feedback also helps you make more sales, as well as your marketing also helping you make more sales. Whereas a negative customer, when they invest into your company, in an unhappy customer creates kind of a negative spiral, where almost the more people you sell that aren't happy, it's a pretty crude graph I'm drawing here, but you get the idea. The more people you sell that aren't happy, the less people you can sell in the future, because the more people are going to talk about you and then realize that you're not good at what you do. So it's like this weird catch-22. Like, it's why in the program we teach what we call the 10% rule, which is like, if 10% or less of your clients are dissatisfied, then you have room to scale. If you have more than 10% of your clients, you get the idea. Like 10% or less, you've got plenty of room to scale. 10% or more, you need to figure out your offer, which was the first place we came into with you, because you were telling me like a lot of my clients don't show up for calls. They don't really take action. They don't finish their payment plans. I'm like, dude, this is a sales and offer issue. We need to dig into this. And so now that we solved that, it's going to be, dude, you're going to be surprised. Like, stick to this path a year from now of working on these three things, like your ability to upsell and making that mastermind quality, making your offer just a killer in your marketplace and getting your clients incredible results and telling their stories well on the front end of people that have succeeded with you, interviewing them like I'm doing with you right now. You know, you'll be surprised how easy it is to sustain a 6-figure month rate. Like now for me, $100,000 in a month is just like slow. Like it's weird, dude. Like I'm at a stage in my business where I'm like so aware of how much more we could be doing. Honestly, I'm like, we could be doing 400, 500 G's a month. Like it wouldn't be hard.
Yeah,
So it's just like, you know, it's just I'm engaged, crazy season of my life. So I'm kind of chilling, to be honest. But you know, I'm very aware of how much further we could be going because that feedback loop, that momentum is in our favor. Like I don't even know if you saw me a second ago. I kind of did like a yes fist bump. I just saw like a $10,000 payment come through while we're on the call. I'm like, yeah, like the team's closing deals. It's just like, dude, it's just like it's wild how it all works. But anyway, dude, advice to the viewer, man. Advice to the viewer, because I feel like you shared some takeaways. What's your advice to the viewer?
Dude, I probably should, to be honest, like I probably should have joined your program a lot longer or sooner, because like I've been watching you for like since like probably 2019 when I first like got started in the space. But I almost like since you were like about my age, it was almost like I was trying to compete with you.
Mm-hmm.
This guy, like yeah, he has
Oh,
the
dude, yeah.
channel, his 20,000 subscribers. Like I don't, I was like I could do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, it's funny. And what's funny is I don't actually have 20,000 subscribers. Like a lot of those are from wedding photography. And I used to literally make like tech deck videos. And I made videos about this video game I used to play called Little Big Planet on the PlayStation 3. And like I made all kinds of weird videos on this channel. So it's like, this isn't even like, it's not actually my real following. I probably realistically have like 8 to 10,000 subscribers on this channel, which is whacked out crazy that we do like $1 million a year with that. So, yeah.
And that's why I joined. I was like, bro, how do we convert this audience? Like I remember like I was watching your videos like the Russell Brunson one, the one where you talk about drawing the circles and like the different spheres. Oh like and the one with the 150,000 a day funnel. I used to watch those videos like multiple times a day, like in my car, and it was just like just kind of being able to do that myself now, where these people come on the phone, which is why I wanted to like they'll be like, yes, you said this in this video, you said this in this video, you said this in this video. And it was just like, oh my gosh, you have this like super valuable responsibility to say things that are true, because these people are impressionable. And yeah, man, like if I had one thing to say, it would be, on the one hand, grow your audience. On the other hand, find a way to make content that's going to give them value at the same time. So that way you don't have to spend a lot of money, get 19,000 followers, and only be making, you know, $20,000, $30,000 a month.
Yep. Totally, dude. That's some killer advice, man. It's some killer advice. It's the advice I've stuck. It's a very simple, I gotta say, sleep well at night. You know, if you just read all the books, become the actual expert, talk to all the other experts in your field, and just start making content, sharing. And, you know, and even like, that's the cool thing is like, there's this quote from like Socrates. He's like, I've learned a lot from my mentors. I've learned a lot from books. I've learned a lot from my peers, but I've learned the most from my students. Like when you're learning lessons, helping people, you can just turn those into pieces of content, push that out. So anyway, dude, appreciate your time, man. Incredible interview. And yeah, I think people are going to appreciate this one. Thanks again.